What is up? Good morning, wherever you are. Welcome back, and I am ready to get launched and ready to get going. Um, I've been sharing this information about how you can access 50K, 100K, 150K in 0% business credit that you can leverage in the next 30 days, depending on if you are sitting on a certain profile right now, or even if your credit isn't great. Then we're going to talk about how you can get into it as well and leverage this information. And this is a literal blueprint that I used to be able to gain up to 250,000 per person in our household. So that means we have over 500,000 that we are able to leverage for all sorts of purposes in business and investment and real estate. And you can have that too. I want you to know about it. I want you to have access to it, and I want you to be able to fast track and push things forward in your life. Right. So, again, I'm Kyle Alexander. I am a husband and a father and an entrepreneur and a musician. And I want to make sure that my goal, hopefully, is the same as yours, to be able to obtain freedom as soon as possible and to push things forward. So Miss Mac, what's happening? Good morning. I want you guys to be able to push things forward as soon as possible, right? And this is one of the ways to fast track your freedom, because it was once you get access, if you get access to 100K, to 50K, to 150K in business credit, again at 0%, and you're not having to come up with anything on the beginning, right? So you don't have to have tax returns. These are no doc programs, so you don't have to have tax returns. Don't have to have a proof of revenue of a business income. Don't have to have a business plan or all that stuff, and that automatically removes so many of the barriers that come up in our mind when it comes to, okay, well, how am I going to do this? A lot of people that I know, like in real estate, they're thinking about it. It's like, okay, I can't get my first real estate property because I don't have, $20,000 for a down payment. I don't have $50,000 for a down payment. Or I can't start this business because I don't have access to the capital. And access to capital is the one thing that opens up so much flexibility, um, opens up so much possibility. And that's what I'm saying is, when you follow this blueprint, um, it opens that up like pretty much right away, right? And once you have it, you can ask it, and you can access it. And this might mean for you, again, what's going on, MD? This might mean for you 100K, 120K, 130K. And also, when you leverage this information, there's ways for you to be able to use it to make money on your own, right? So you can leverage it for your business, and you can also use it to make money, 2,000 to 5,000 a month, or even per client, sometimes for referrals. So I want to break down this blueprint to you, the exact steps. There's no gatekeep, and like I said, this is exactly what I've used to be able to obtain over 500,000 in business credit at 0% interest, and a few lines of credit and things like that, just over the past couple of years. And like a lot of us, we're not, a serial, just lifelong business entrepreneurs. I've been in this entrepreneurial space for the past 3 or 4 years, and in that time, that's how much I was able to obtain, and it's changed everything about how I navigate things, as far as the people that I can access, the mentorships I've gotten in, the high level people I've gotten around, the training that I've got, and just the experience and education has all been fueled through business credit. And you can have access to this as well. So I want to share with you like the exact blueprint. Like, these are the steps that you need. This is what you need to be able to tap into it. And like I said, everybody can do it. So please, I hope, if you're here, I want you to take notes. And if you have been watching previously, then I want you to make sure you ask any additional questions. Like, what questions do you have? What's remaining? What's still holding you back? Or what thoughts do you have? Like, how am I going to execute on this? What are the best ways to use it? um, what are some things we can do to leverage it? And then we can also talk about some of the other products that we offer as well. So the 0% business credit angle, I believe, is one of the most powerful, because it's the one of the quickest things that you can access. It's the easiest thing to access, because again, there's a lot that is not required once you have this blueprint in place, and this formula in place. There's a lot of things that you don't have to do, and that cuts down on the time, right? And it's the best way to get into business credit. It's the best way to get into investment and things like that, because it sets you up for later to be able to access other types of business funding, right? Different types of business loans, business lines of credit. If you want to do an SBA loan and things like that and build up your business credit score like independently, a lot of people talk online about ways to do that. But this is one of the best ways to be able to start on a very significant foot, right, in that direction. And I'll just break that down very quickly because you are typically you're going after, when you're building up your business credit, you have to start from scratch, right? So the business credit as an entity and having its own credibility has to start from scratch. So you have to get these various different accounts. You have to do different things in order to be able to get it to the point where where the banks can trust it by itself, right? Without anybody else's support, right? So without anyone else's personal guarantee or anything like that. So there, people talk about ways to do that, but it's usually a very slow process and a very small process where I'm getting these different accounts for like $1,000 limit, $500 limit, getting trade lines on my business report. And then eventually I can move up to some different gas cards and some store cards and things like that. And then if you want to get to the point where you've got cash credit, right? It takes quite a while. And once you get it, unless you're pulling in, $1 million a year or more, $2 million a year. What's going on, Leslie? What's up, John? Until you get that amount or more, it's going to be very, very limited, right? So you might get $10,000 to be able to use for your business. If you get like a Sam's Club card, like there's certain cards you can access here and there that will be cash credit. That's like, okay, completely separate from a personal. However, if you take this route and you say, okay, I'm going to leverage my personal profile, I'm going to break down the exact makeup that it needs to be in order to do that. If you take advantage of that, then now we're talking about in the next 30 days, you could have access to 100K, to 120K, 150K at 0% interest that you could be using for pretty much any purpose that you can imagine. Hiring, for advertising, for mentorship, for real estate, pretty much anything you can use it for. Because anything that you can't pay directly with one of these business credit cards, then we have ways also to be able to liquidate those funds into cash where it does not show up as a cash advance where you're paying these extra fees and things like that. It just shows up as a purchase and you're on 0% interest and you can have cash in your account to be able to use again for real estate down payments. For you can even use it for like a SBA loan. For those that are familiar with, okay, I'm going to take over a business, I'm going to buy a business, and I'm going to use this for an SBA loan, and the SBA requires like a 10% down. Right. So again, let's say, okay, there's a business is $1 million. I'm going to buy this business. So now I need $100,000. Where are you going to get that from? Right. There's a lot of ways to do it. But if you get approved for 120,000, 150,000 in business credit at 0% interest, now you can use and liquidate a portion of that to be able to use to get into your into the SBA loan. So now what does that mean is now we didn't use any of our money out of pocket to be able to get into something that again, if you're studying this, these businesses a lot of times sometimes are, hey, what's going on, Jennifer? Thanks for the follow. These businesses are sometimes cash flowing 15,000 a month, 20,000 a month, 30,000, 10,000, 50,000 on day one, right? And you come in and manage it. It's a whole process to get into that, but it opens the door that now you can access that like completely, right? Without having necessarily any money out of your own pocket. And this is why this is so powerful in the next 30 days that you could access that, right? When you have this formula in place, then the doors open up to you, right? So please put your questions in the chat, right? I'm answering anything. I got a short time window today. This is a pop-up, but I want to come on any chance I can get to share this information with you because it is very empowering. Like I said, it's just literally a formula. Once you know the formula, you can get into it, right? So I'm gonna jump in, and please ask your questions. I'll stop for any questions. And thank you guys. Please share this live with somebody. This is really, really powerful information. I've paid a lot of money for it, and I want you to be able to access it, and share it. So please share this with as many people as you can, as we get into this, right? So first up is the personal credit profile is the main thing that you need. There's two pillars: your personal credit profile and then your business entity structure. When you have those two things right in the way that I'm literally about to spell it out to you, like no gatekeep, this is exactly what you need. When you have those two together, then we can go and be able to access with according to the right strategy, but we can access 50K, 100K, 120K, 150K, 80K, whatever it is, we can access that in the next 30 to 45 days. So some of you watching might be literally sitting on that right now and needing to take advantage of it. Or if you don't have this profile set up, then you can leverage, other ways. I'm going to tell you, if your credit is not great, I'm going to tell you some ways that you can access this, right? So one of the main things I want you to focus on is, I want you to take advantage of the free consultation call that we offer that looks at your specific situation and what are your exact next steps to be able to access this funding, right, for your business. And this could be either something in your credit that needs to be adjusted, changed, repaired, fixed, optimized, or improved, or your credit is solid and we just need to be looking at your next step, right, for funding, right? So you need to go to fundingmyfuture.net, or you need to just hit the link in my bio or text me at 240-240-642. You can text me and I'll send you the link. So that's the best thing I can say. All right. So I have a comment. Thank you for your comment. So Aluwa Momi. So you said, is marketing a low risk industry? Yes, marketing is a low risk industry for sure. So if that's the main thing that you're doing, then you're good to go to use like what your business is actually doing straightforward and go into it, right? So we're going to talk about, and we can talk about it now. If you're here, you got time and you want more questions, just comment. We can talk about that. Like, what does your LLC, entity need to be structured as in order to take advantage of the most opportunity, right? So just let me know if you want to go into that now, and I will do that, right? But there are certain industries that are considered high risk by the banks, certain industries that are considered low risk by the banks. And what we want to do is we want to gear ourselves toward as low risk, as low friction as possible when it comes to the banks. And that's how we set ourselves up for the maximum approvals. And then here's the thing is, if you have business that is high risk or any other type of business, we can use this funding LLC, right? Some people will set up a dedicated LLC to get funded so that it's exactly the way the banks want to see it. And then we can set up another LLC, right? That is client facing, that does whatever it is that we want, right? So so you said that the company is registered already and it's in the marketing industry. Okay. Yeah. So that's fine. So you're good to go, right? So now we just need to look at, okay, well, what are these personal credit, a profile data points that we want to know? Because then you might be already in, because you got your LLC already. Hey, that's good to go. Now, even if you don't have your LLC, that we can still help to set that up and at least to frame it and guide you in the way that you just set up in order to access this funding. Again, could be yours in the next 30 days, like literally. So one of my recent clients, from the time she booked a call with the team to the time she had access to 90K in 0% business credit was about 22 days. All right. So, and that's because she was ready. She followed the steps and that was it. Right. So that could be you. And again, even if that's not you, there are some ways I'm going to talk about. If your credit isn't, in the position that it needs to be, we're going to start working on it. But while we work on it, there's some other ways you can capitalize on this, like literally right now. Right. So again, thank you guys for coming in, and I'm gonna dive into this. So if you're tapped in, then I want to go through the exact blueprint that you're going to need to be able to access this. Right. So number one is your personal credit profile. So it's not just the score, right? But it's the your personal credit profile, because you could have, and you hear a lot of people say, hey, you need a 680 credit score, a 700 credit score, 720 credit score, whatever the case. You can have a 700 credit score and still get denied for funding, right? What's going on, guys? Eddie, what's happening? Yabina, what's good? What's good? Sylvia. So you could have a 700 score and still get denied for funding, right? Because the profile isn't robust enough. It doesn't have enough in it. Because let's say that you have one credit card, right? That you have, and it's $500 limit, right? And you've done very, very well with it. You never had a late payment. You did all the good stuff with it, but that's not enough credit, right? So that could give you a 700 credit score if you only had a few accounts and things like that, and you handle it well, but it might not be enough. So we're going to go through the exact blueprint that you're going to need on the personal side in order to qualify for this, right? Like I said, this is a real thing. Between myself and my wife, we have access over 500,000 in business credit, working with different companies, and now I've learned how to be able to do it to help other people with it. So that's what I'm doing now. It's one of the most powerful things you can access, and this is why I want to share it with you, right? So we have another comment. Again, put your questions in the chat. I'm answering questions. I paid good money for this info, and it is yours right now. So you just so happen to be here. Fate has brought us here. So I would just say take advantage of it by asking whatever question that you have. What do you feel like is holding you back, or does this work for this type of business, or does this work for me? So here we go. So we said, I want to start building personal credit with trade lines so that business can be funded to 25 to 50K. Yep, that is totally possible, right? So let's talk about this. Aluabami, let's talk about this, right? So we're gonna say, okay, what do you need in your personal credit? First, I'm gonna go through the list. You're gonna check mark for yourself and say, do I have that? Check, check. No, no, no. And wherever we are, whatever we don't have, this is what our team is equipped to be able to help you to build up, right? So whatever's not in your profile, and this is why for a lot of people whose credit is not in the right place for this, you might have credit repair companies that can repair and remove things from your credit report, but not everybody is equipped to be able to set you up for exactly what the banks want to see when it comes to funding, right? So we know what needs to go into your report in order to make it robust enough so that the banks are going to jump on it and be ready to give you the funds, right? So let's go through, just because we have the question, let's go through this question about, okay, building your personal credit trade line. So let me know, Aluabumi, and let me know if I'm saying that right. For your personal credit, are you saying you don't have any personal credit and you need to start building it like from scratch, from zero, or you have some and you just know if you need to tweak it? So let me know, right? But let's start through it. So here is the personal credit profile. Please get a pen, take some notes, right? Because once you know this opens up so much. I wish I could communicate to you how important this is, right? So here we go. So number one is your personal credit profile, not just the score, but you need to have at least 2 credit cards with a $3,000 limit or higher, bare minimum. And ideally, all of your limits are at least $10,000 to $15,000, right? So Alua Bummy says starting from zero. Hey, what's up, Jordan? What's going on? Alua Bummy says starting from zero. Right. Okay. So that's no problem. So we can talk about what you're going to need. So pay attention, take notes on this, because you're going to need to know this blueprint, because it's going to be important. It's going to be important for you to know, okay, what does this look like for me? And what is this going to look like for the other ways I can leverage it? And I'm going to go into it right now. Right. So take notes. I'm going to zip through it and then we're going to go back because like I said, we got a short time window today. I want to make sure to add as much value as I can. Jordan, thanks for the gift. Appreciate you. So I want to add as much value as I can today. And again, please put your questions in the chat. So here we go. So your credit card limits on your personal cards need to be at least $10,000 to $15,000, right? That's ideally, that's like the minimum. So all your cards added up is at least 10 to 15,000, right? That's kind of the starting point. And then for your individual cards, do you have at least 2 that are $3,000 or higher, $5,000 or higher? Ideally, you have some with 10,000. So some of you watching right now say, hey, I got a number of cards, and it's like I got 50,000 in credit. Like that's just normal. And you might be sitting on gold that you can access, right? Now, number 2 is your utilization needs to be below 30%. Ideally, it's below 10%, right? And this is across all of your cards, your total limits, as well as each individual card needs to have that utilization. Now, if utilization is the only issue that's holding you back, I have a hack, a trick that I can share that we can deal with that. And you might be 1 or 2 moves away, even without having to come up with more money. You might be 1 or 2 moves away from changing that situation, changing your credit score, and being ready for funding. Some of you might be in there. So put utilization in the chat if you want to hear about that, and I can break that down. But let's keep going just for Alua Bomi to know, okay, what are we going to need to have this profile so we can start building up the right way, right? And again, if you want help with this, my suggestion is you go to fundingmyfuture.net and fill out the little form and book a call with the team so you can know your exact next step, right? What is my next step to be set up for this? Is it something in my credit that needs to change, or am I ready and I just need advice on how to build up maybe the entity or the LLC or whatever to be able to get access to this funding? 50K, 80K, 100K, 120K. All right, so we talked about the utilization and your credit cards, right, in your name. You need to have your inquiries that need to be between 0 and 3 on each bureau. A maximum of 3, ideally, right? And ideally, you have 0 increase in the last 6 months, right? So those in that recent 6-month period are more impactful for funding decisions versus those that are older than 6 months, right? So, so you want to be mindful of that. So next is you need to have at least 10 primary accounts reporting in your credit file. Primary meaning in your name, and this is across the board: auto loans, mortgages, student loans, credit cards, store cards, right? Everything. Do you have at least 10 of those? If you don't, again, Alua Bummy, if you don't have that, then there are ways to start building that up from scratch now. And I would suggest to do it under the consultation of the team so that you can know, okay, you don't have to throw, throw everything at the wall and try to see what sticks. you can know, okay, I need this, 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 this. This is going to be the best thing for me to push this forward as soon as possible so that I can leverage it. Right. And let's go through the rest of this. So at least 10 primary accounts. Your average age on your credit needs to be at least 4 years. Right. If you got 2 years average age on your credit across all your accounts, then you can squeeze in the door, but at least 4+ years is ideal. Right. Tanika, what's going on? So next is you need to have no negatives. This is no late payments, no collections, no charge-offs, and no bankruptcy, right? And the only caveat to the late payments is if in the last 2 years you don't have any late payments, but you have some that are older than 2 years, then you can still squeeze in the door, right? And there's still banks and institutions we can leverage with that profile, right? So that's the only caveat. But ideally, it will be totally clean. So if you have some in the recent 2 years, then we need to get those dealt with, right? We need to get them. And again, our team can help with that across the board. Whatever it is that you need, we can help with that. So whether that's credit repair or credit optimization, like I talk about, adding things to your report so that you're ready, we can help with all of that, right? So again, make sure you book a call. You can text me, and I can send you the direct link, or you can DM me, right? So the text is 240-240-642, right? So here we go. So if you don't have that, and I'm just going straight for Oluwabunmi. So if you do, then I want you to, if you do have that, then I want you to put ready in the chat, right? If you have that set up right now. Hold on one second. I'm getting a call. I think I'm starting to lose my time window. So I want to make sure that we're getting as much value in here as we can squeeze. If you have that profile that I just said, right? If you have those data points, I want you to put ready in the chat, right? If you don't have it, I want you to put credit in the chat. All right. So just for Oluwabunmi, because she said she's starting from zero, what can she do? What can you do in this scenario if you don't have the credit profile that I just said, right? If you do have it, you're literally 30 days away from 100K, 120K, 150K, 80K, whatever it is. If you don't have it, here's what you can do, right? I just told you the blueprint. I just told you the exact things that you would need to be set up for this, right? So what you can do is you can leverage what's called a credit partner, where someone else has the credit. They have that profile, they're sitting on it, and they're not doing anything with it. And you can partner with them to where we can get them funded either on their own LLC that we set up or on your LLC, and you put them on your operating agreement, right? And there's ways to do that strategically. But now they're the ones that's getting funded, and then we can use that funding to fuel your business, right? So again, so that 25K to 50K Oluwabunmi that you need, they're technically, if you find the right person that has this profile with those data points that I just shared with you, then you can link up with them. We can get them funded. And now that 25 to 50K is going to be nothing in the next 30 days. So your job might be, okay, let me source the person that I can partner with and start to think outside of my own self and think out of the box just a little bit so I can push this thing forward. Right. So I hope that is helpful for you to understand, okay, well, this is what it's going to take to be able to push things forward. Right. So I got 2 minutes left. So please ask any other questions that you have. Thank you guys for tapping in. And please follow me and share this with somebody that needs to know this information. Right. So I'm going to go through it one more time, right, real quick. And I'm going to share if anybody needs to know about, okay, is it my credit that I need to leverage, or is it someone else's credit in the form of a credit partner? Now, here's the third way that you can capitalize on this right now, regardless of whether or not you have this credit profile. Once you know these data points, you can also be referring people with that structure right now, and you could be making money right now on it, right? Case in point is the last affiliate payout that I sent was a friend of mine sent me a referral, and I just paid her $2,252 for one referral, and it was probably 20 to 30 days after she sent it, right? So if she did that once a month or twice a month, then that would add up. Could you use an extra $2,000 to $5,000 before the end of the year? Right. So that's another thing you can think about is once you have that and once you know it, you can leverage it and literally just take advantage of it. Right. So again, I wanted to pop in here. I'll be going live again. So keep an eye out. If you have any other questions before we wrap up, then you can ask those. But I want to go through this profile again because this is the most valuable thing I can leave with you. Right. And before you you book a call with the team, right? Fundingmyfuture.net, fill out the little form, put your information, and you can book a call with one of the advisors, right? So lastly, we're talking about your credit cards. You need to have at least 10,000 to 15,000 in your overall limit, right? And Oluwabumi, what you can do is, as you start to build it up, and when you build your personal profile up to a certain point, and say you don't have any credit cards, you need to build your profile up so that when you do get your first credit card, you're going to get a high limit card. And ideally, you're going with a bank or credit union that is known for giving out high limits, right? So that way you start the ball off, instead of having a $1,000 card or a $500 card to start off with, you might start off with a 10,000, with a 15,000, with a $20,000 card. And that can be the best starting point to be able to set you up to get business credit at higher limits and higher amounts, because it's always going to be based on your personal credit, right? Your personal credit limits your overall amount, right? So again, your credit limits overall are going to need to be $10,000 to $15,000. That's the baseline point. If you got that, then you're in the ballpark. The more, the better, right? If your utilization is under 30%, right, and ideally under 10%, if you've got 0 to 3 inquiries, right, and if you've got at least 10 primary accounts reporting on your file, and you've got an average age of your credit at 4+ years, or maybe 2, right, and you've got no negatives, no late payments in the last 2 years, no collections, no charge-offs, and no bankruptcies, then you are totally good to go. You can access 50K, 100K, 150K in 0% business credit without having to submit any documents, no tax returns, no personal financial statements, no business revenue proof. You don't have to do any of that, right? And you could be a brand new business starting literally today and still have access to that. So if you want to know more about that, I got to hop off now, but like I said, I had to come on and share. I hope this was helpful for you, and empowering for you to move on to the next step. But make sure you book your call. Go to fundingmyfuture.net and book a call with the team, or you can DM me, right? Or you can text me, like I said, 240-642. And much love. So we said, Saffron, you're squeezing it in. Let's see. She said, so I applied for Amex and Truist within the same day. Amex approved me and Truist denied me. Right? What do I do next? So Saffron, this is why, if you're going to do it like that, then you're going to run into, bumps and bruises, because there might be certain things that you don't know, certain things that you do know. I would still suggest that you get under consultation of the team to say, okay, well, this is what I've done so far. You might want to pump the brakes, because as you're getting new accounts, you're getting inquiries. The order and the sequence matters a lot, right? Because some banks care a lot that you started, with other people, or that you have inquiries, or that you have new accounts, and that might throw off a lot of the sequence, or it might limit the amount that you can get overall. Right. Which is why, again, so you got the Amex approval. That's dope. You can use that for what you need to use it. But if you're trying to do like a full stack to say, okay, I'm going to 6 different banks or 5 different banks, and I'm going to walk away with $120,000 at the end of all of this, then it's like a lot more nuance and strategy that you want to go into. And it's going to depend on your personal situation, which is why these consultations are so valuable, because they're looking at your personal situation to say, okay, well, what is the next thing that you need to do? So that's why I would suggest that you book a call with the team, right? Book a call with the team. Let's see. You need a full stack, because what Amex approved me for isn't enough for my startup, right? And that's case in point, right? And again, I don't blame anybody for trying to navigate it and trying to go after it. If you follow the blueprint that I just told you, as far as the personal credit setup, as far as the LLC structure, you can look at my content and things like that. You can DM me. If you follow that blueprint, you're going to be the best. You're going to be in the best position possible to be able to get the max limits. But again, that nuance, if you need that full stack, there's a lot of little moving pieces and a lot of things, and the banks change. It's a lot of information to know. So if you're looking to actually execute your business, then it just takes a lot to be able to know that. So that's why I suggest that you get with the team, right? And book a call at fundingmyfuture.net. You can text me 240-642 to reach out, and I'll give you the direct link. But I suggest that you book a call with the team so you can get that exact blueprint to say, okay, this is what I've done. I took the ball this far. The result wasn't what I wanted, but how can you guys get me 100K? You know what I mean? 80K. All right. So again, I got to hop off, you guys, but I definitely appreciate it. And tap in, right? Stay tapped in, and we'll see you the next time around. All right. Peace.